Hello, everybody. Ty and Charlene here. Did you see the first part of Chris Wark's presentation from the Truth About Cancer Live Orlando? We promised we'd be back with part two, so here it is.
Yeah, the world we live in has constructed a system on how to cure cancer, but you'll quickly realize how alone you are when you deviate from that system. Chris is about to talk about his experience with that kind of pushback.
And so I was, I was just overflowing with emotion and joy and just the light bulbs are firing. I know you know these feelings, right? This excitement, I just had this mainline injection of hope, right? And I called my wife and I was so excited. I was telling her about this book and I was talking 90 miles an hour, I'm sure. And she was like, "What are you talking about?" That's how she talks. And I'm like, I got this book, and I'm not going to do chemo, and we got to find a juicer. She was like, "What?" And as soon as I put the phone down, it rings again, and it's another family member. Because in my wife's family, you tell one person something, and they all know. They all know. There may be witchcraft involved. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I'm getting calls from family members. "Chris, we heard you're thinking about not doing chemo. You really need to do what the doctor says. I know someone who did alternative therapies and they died. You can't boil broccoli in hydrogen peroxide. It's not going to cure you." Someone told me that. I don't even know what that meant. I didn't even know that was a thing. Somebody told me that. And some of you are going to go home and do it, too. You're going to go try that. Let me know how it works. So I got all this, it's funny now. Yeah, you're laughing it up now. It wasn't funny then. I got all this pressure instantly to do chemo from everyone around me. And it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible to get this answer to prayer, and then everyone around you says, no, that's not an answer to prayer. That's a mistake. You're wrong. You're being stubborn. It's not going to work, not going to help you. Don't you think if there was something better, they'd know about it? I don't know how to answer these questions. I'm only on chapter 2 of this book. Let me get back to you. Come on. But it was very discouraging. It was very discouraging because my support system, kind of evaporated, right? Some of you, same situation, right? Your support system is like poof, right? "Oh, you want to do chemo? Oh, let's run a race together. We'll get some T-shirts printed up. Or bring some donuts. Chemo, cancer club, running the race." You got all the support. Do some stretching before we go. You got all the support in the world if you go that way, right? All the support in the world. And if you deviate from the path, everybody's like, no. So I had a very tough wake-up call that I was alone. I was alone. The only person that supported me in the beginning was my mom. And this is an amazing yeah. She'll see this eventually, and she will be very happy to hear you clap for her. My mom was a health nut, like 70s era health nut, right? And so I grew up eating quasi-healthy food, right? Like the peanut butter with the crunchies in it and then the oil on the top. Like we had that. And we had sprouts, avocados, we had some of those usually. We had kefir before anybody knew what kefir was. We had kefir in the house. She had a product called Park Kelp. Still don't know what that is. Something to do with kelp, I guess. So she would always buy little knickknacks at the health food store. And when I told her about this book and I started talking about it, she's like, oh, I know all about that. Yeah, I've got a bunch of books about the raw food diet and juicing and people healing cancer and all. And I'm like, what? You do? Stacks of books. She had books by, every Paul Bragg book, had all the Bragg books, Pavo Areola. She had Natural Cures they don't want you to know about. She had that book, which in hindsight wasn't a great book. But she had amassed this collection, this library of books on natural health and healing since like the early 1970s, right? For 30 years, and just had stacks of them. My mom is just an avid reader and loves to learn. And so I had this sort of like treasure trove of this library of like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe she's been saving all these up for me, right? Not knowing it, she's either a pack rat or maybe a divine, intervention. I don't know. So I discovered Dr. Lorraine Day and Dr. Richard Schultz and Anne Fromm, A Cancer Battle Plan. So I started going from book to book to book. Back then, the internet sucked. You don't remember, but in 2004, there was no Facebook. There was no YouTube. It started in 2005. And there were no videos on the internet. It was like every website had like little dancing cats on it, and that was all, right? And so I didn't find any help on the internet. And I was so desperate to find people who had healed, and I couldn't find them. I mean, there's a handful of books, and that was like it. And now looking back, I realized it was a blessing in disguise, right? Because everything I found was confirmatory. And it kept me on a very tight and narrow path. And today, we have the opposite problem, right? We've got too much information, right? Information's power. I'm so glad we have a lot of information, but you can get really confused, right? There's all these websites about cancer and alternative therapies and healing and blah, I get it, right? And so, but I do want to say, there's never been a better time to get cancer. Doesn't that make you feel better? There really has never been a better time because thanks to the information superhighway, the information age that we're in, we can share all these amazing healing stories. You can find these healing testimonials online. I'm constantly sharing them. I've interviewed 4 or 5 people at least at this conference with absolutely amazing cancer healing stories, long-term survival, terminal cancer healing stories. You'll see them soon on the blog, okay? So many people are coming up to me telling me that they're healing, they're getting well, they've already healed. I'm like, okay, get out of here. Boring. Right? I mean, that's exciting. It's amazing what's happening. But back then I didn't have any of that. And so it was tough. It was tough because I wanted more and I only had a little, but it forced me just to stay the course, just to keep doing what I was doing. And so I converted to a raw food diet overnight, tons of fruits and vegetables. I bought a Champion juicer, started juicing carrots 64 ounces a day, overdosing on nutrition. That was this idea I had. I'm gonna overdose on nutrition. If I'm not gonna put chemo in my body, I'm gonna overdose on nutrition. I'm gonna see how many carrots it takes to kill me. I didn't find that answer, but I did find out how many it takes to turn my skin orange. And it was 64 ounces a day. That's how much it takes. Now, back to the family pressure. So I made this instantaneous change, but people are still saying, well, you've got to talk to the doctor. Will you please go hear what they have to say? Maybe they have some alternative therapies available. I'm like, okay, And so in order to appease family pressure, hi, I'm right here. I know it's fun on the screen, though. I'm so much bigger. You can see my muscles real good. So in order to appease, this is a part of the story that's supposed to be serious. In order to appease the family pressure, right, I agreed to go. Many of you know that feeling, right? Everybody's like bugging you. They won't leave you alone, and you're like, you know what you want to do. Your instincts, your intuition, your heart, you know deep down what you need to do, what you should do, or what you shouldn't be doing, right? But everyone else is telling you like, oh, you got to go to the doctor, you got to get this, you got to get that. And so I'm like, okay, like I just want to just like alleviate the pressure. And so we go to the cancer clinic, you know, the parking lot's packed, the waiting room's full, and I walk in, you know, it's kind of like first day at a new school, you know, like maybe in the lunchroom or whatever. Like you're kind of walking in, you're like, who do I sit by? Like any cool people in here? Right, you know? No, I didn't see any cool people. They were all old, like really old. I was 26, handlebar mustache, shaggy hair, rock and roll dude. And everybody else in there was like 50, 60, 70, 80. There might have been a 100-year-old person in there. Right? It was like gray hair, no offense, gray hair, and then me. And I was just like, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. This is just so strange. And we sit down and the TV's on and it's the morning show and we're waiting to go back and out comes Jack LaLanne on this morning show. Jack LaLanne comes out and he's like, going off. The reason we're all sick is because we're eating all this processed food and man-made food and junk food and too much meat and dairy. And if man made it, don't eat it. And I'm like, this is so weird. It's so weird. So weird. Why is this happening in the cancer clinic right now? Like, this is unbelievable. And then we go back and see the oncologist, and he gives me the standard thing, you know? I mean, he's like, he looks at my chart. Who's this guy? Chris. It's Chris with the colon cancer. Chris. Colon cancer, right? Comes in, yeah, you got Chris, you have colon cancer, right? Stage 3C, you got about a 60% chance of living 5 years with treatment. I'm like, well, that's not very encouraging. 60%, that's kind of close to 50, which is like a coin toss, basically. And I'm like, well, that's not inspiring any confidence at all, doc. And he said some other stuff that was boring. And then I said, well, what about the raw food diet? I'd been on it for a week. And he said, no, you can't do that. It'll fight the chemo. That's what he said. That's what he said. I asked him if there were any alternative therapies available. And at that point, he started to get irritated. And his demeanor changed, like pretty much just like that. And he became very arrogant and condescending. And he said, no, if you don't do chemotherapy, you're insane. And in that moment in time, the fear just was like, right? The wave of fear just smashed me. And I got the deer in the headlights, right? The tunnel vision, I just went into a panic. And he's talking to me, sternly about stuff that I don't want to hear about. And he's telling me, if I don't do what he says, I'm going to die. That's what you all heard, right? Has anybody in here not heard that? That's the message. Do this or die. There's no third option. There's no second option. And as he's talking, and I'm just like wanting to run out of there, he said something that just cuts through just the wah, kind of peanuts sounding talking. And he's like, and I'm not saying this because I need your business. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, whoa, let's back up. I'm in sales, and one of the first things they taught me in sales was this technique called the push away. Yeah, the push away. You're doing the push away right now. I know what you're up to, and I wasn't even talking about business. What does business even have to do with it, right? business. I thought this was like a charity thing or something. Isn't that what doctors do? They just like care for everyone magically or whatever. Isn't that what they do? He thought that was funny. He thought it was funny. I never thought about the business of cancer treatment at all. You know what's crazy? There's a brand new study out in the BMJ this week. 2/3, it's like right under, nearly 2/3 of the cancer drugs approved between 2009 and 2013 show no benefit, no survival benefit, and no quality of life benefit. How in God's name did these drugs get approved showing no benefit at all? Tell me. It's money. It's money. They're all approved before they even show a benefit. They're like, we got a new drug. And the FDA is like, okay, here you go. I'll stamp it. Right? You start selling that thing. So I didn't know anything about the business of cancer back then, but I know now that private practice oncologists make up to 2/3 of their income from the profit of chemotherapy drugs. Isn't that great? Let's all clap for that. Way to go, guys. Way to go. You just raking it in. Yeah, can I stay at your beach house, by the way? So, you know, even though I had Jack LaLanne talking to me in the waiting room, and then he said the weird stuff in our appointment, the fear was so strong and so powerful that I got up out of our appointment like a robot and like went to the desk and like made an appointment to get a port put in a couple weeks when it was like my time or whatever. And then we walked out to the car and we sat in my wife's car and we cried because it was like one of the worst days of another really bad day, right? And we prayed and I was so defeated. I was so deflated, and all my faith and my courage and my enthusiasm and optimism was just shattered by that appointment. And you've been there, right? Right? It's a fear factory. And I'm not saying all oncologists are bad or they all do this, but this happens a lot. This happens a lot. There are good and bad people in the world, right? There are liars, thieves, murderers, drug addicts. Some of them are doctors. I'm just saying, they are. Medical degree does not make you a good person. Sorry, it's the truth. But we treat them like they are, right? Treat them like they're a priest in the white robe.
That's some amazing information from our friend Chris Wark. We really appreciate him sharing, and we hope that you learned a lot from this video.
If you did, please share this on your social media networks and let your friends and family know about the truth about cancer. Thank you, and God bless.